Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Late Night in the Party Chat. I'm one of your gracious hosts, John. Joining me tonight are, of course, Justin and Justice.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Hey, yeah, what's up?
So, how are you guys doing
So I was,
tonight?
I was literally just about to ask you the same thing.
Get out of my head.
Stop it. I'll kiss you on the lips.
That's all I
Don't
ever
test me.
wanted.
Get a room, and then give me the key. I want to join.
So, funnily enough, I have this bottle of Febreze sitting on the desk beside me.
Stop talking about the goddamn Febreze.
No, I think we need to elaborate. This is something that's been pretty smack talking for right here.
So, we were doing some
Okay,
audio
so
testing when we
we
were
re-
setting up, and so whenever we had to test audio, we'd be like, all right, Justin, talk. All right, Justice, talk. And all Justice would talk about was how different flavors of Febreze in different types of bottles all tasted differently. And you know what? I have to say, I'm inclined to agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hand me a bottle of Pet Odor Eliminator Air Febreze and tell me it tastes the same as Lilac Sunrise Air Febreze. It doesn't.
I don't know where you guys are getting this, or why you
Really?
wanted to know this information.
Personal experience is the only answer I can give you.
All right, look. Take a bottle of Febreze, spray it directly up your nose,
No.
and tell me you don't feel something.
Yeah, pain from having Febreze up my nose. You fucking imbecile.
Hey, man, can't hate it till you try it.
But
So-
anyway, to get off of Febreze, John, why did you bring us here today? Why are you putting me through this?
Because I just appreciate the things that you do. But I got a question. Do you guys play mobile games?
No, I've never heard of what is a game.
It's funny you ask that. I am currently playing a mobile, and by playing I mean I am staring at it pretty much play itself. But why do you ask?
Well, I was just asking because I got back into Honkai Star Rail recently because they just had their newest, like, the big update, and it's just, like, it got me thinking. I was like, man, like, I feel like most of the time I hear about mobile games, they're kind of like big booty butt cheeks bad. But, I don't know, I just like, do you guys feel like mobile games have a negative stigma around them most of the time?
I mean, I don't think the stigma is unwarranted. A lot of mobile games are just straight up bad. In all honesty,
I'm inclined to agree. I've seen and played a lot of mobile games that really just don't deliver, or they even look really fun or are talked about really fun, and then you get your hands on them and it's just a boring slog fest. So no, I think sometimes they get the bad rap they're warranted.
well,
See, and
or
I-
the game is like they talk about it and they're like, oh, play this game on airplanes or car rides or whatever. It requires no internet access, and it's like, I mean, yeah, cool, but your game is riddled with fucking microtransactions. I can't play the game for longer than 30 seconds without having an ad pop up.
Right, and that's the other thing too on like the ones like that. I see it on TikTok all the time where it's you're this revolver and you have to up your fire rate and ammunition count, and it just doesn't, even like when they say you can do it without internet access, the ads still pop up and ruin the experience, like.
Right.
But I guess my
Right,
thing
or
is that like
you're hopping on. Go ahead.
my thing is that like I feel like when it's a clearly, I'm just gonna come out and say it, bad one like those is one thing to me. But like I guess one of the other things that really brought up like this topic specifically was I was watching an ad and I can't remember what the game was for, but it was for, it wasn't even a mobile game really. It was like a console game, like an arena fighter made by the same people who do like Guilty Gear.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the trailer was getting like relentlessly like crapped on because everyone just assumed that this thing they were looking at was a mobile game, and in reality it wasn't. But like, it's just the way
I
it was
guess.
framed and done made it seem like that. But I just like the instant like other people found out it wasn't a mobile game, it almost looked like the entire like tune that they had about it shifted. I don't know.
No, I mean,
Well, it's
Excuse me.
interesting that you say that. I've seen games. Okay, so here's a good one. I play a game called Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, and when the trailers for that one first came out, it did not look like a mobile game at all. I had no thought, understanding, or belief that it was a mobile game. And then once time came on a little closer and more was talked about the game, it is a mobile game, and it's surprisingly well done. It looks very visually appealing, and there are some games that are like that look really good, and then there are some that look just crappy,
really bad.
just bad.
See, I tried Ever Crisis, and unfortunately, it just feels weird saying, knowing how like hopelessly into like Honkai I am right now. I could not get behind it.
That surprises me.
Well,
I'm
you know,
sorry to
I-
disappoint you.
I have that feeling with a lot of games. Like John recently asked me to play Honkai, and while I won't say that I dislike Honkai. I do enjoy the game for what it is. It's not something that really like grabs my attention. It's not something that like I look at and I'm like, I'm gonna play this every day because I love this game. You know,
See, and I
and
tried.
that's the case with a lot of mobile games.
And honestly, Honkai and I tried like Genshin before too. Like, it wasn't one of those games for me either at first. And then like I was trying to get you to go and like beat the first world before we recorded today, and I don't think you
That
were
did
able
not
to do
happen.
it. But there's just like the
No.
thing that got me, that made me go, "Yup, I'm gonna play this for a long time," is that rather than like it doesn't feel like a mobile game that was built like just for purposes of being a mobile game. Because there's just the cinematography in some of the cutscenes and the music, the execution and the action, how that all like they put that together, doesn't feel like I'm playing a mobile game, but it doesn't feel like I'm playing a mobile game.
Right. Honkai is one of those games that like we're getting in the day and age where they're trying to gear games for all devices. There are a couple games that I've seen now that are on mobile, Switch, PC, Xbox, PlayStation. They're trying to get games to be on all 5 major platforms. But the issue is like there's a game called Tower of Fantasy that just came out on console a few months ago. And I played that when it was on mobile. The issue therein lies is that game was not ported well to console.
It did
The
not feel
controls are
good, no.
clunky. The controls don't make sense. Half of the controls are still geared towards being on a touchscreen phone versus being on a console. And it's just hard to describe mobile games as something that are potentially worth being on console. Obviously like Honkai and Genshin are a couple of exceptions to that rule, but Tower of Fantasy was not ported well. I think with at least Honkai, they kind of made it work both platforms.
It's interesting that you say that, because I think of the exact opposite, where games start on console or even PC and make their way to mobile. You look at something like, to kind of bring it a little more old school, you look at like Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog. Now you type those names into on the Google Play app or whatever, game app store you have, you're going to find pretty much the original Sonic or the original Mario, and you can play the game just the same. Now, obviously, when it's something a bit more like high quality, you're not going to sit there and play Doom Eternal on a mobile phone. It just won't go very well.
I've done that, but
But-
you know how I did that? I did that through remote play. I was still technically playing my PlayStation.
Okay, so that doesn't count at all. But like, even like here, you could look up fucking the old Grand Theft Autos, and those can get played on a mobile phone, and that's pretty crazy to think about because those were something.
I think. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, it's
I don't
okay.
know.
I'll
that
just
sounded
never
kind of
forgive you.
purposeful.
It did not. It did. I'll just never forgive you. But no, it's interesting to think about because I remember sitting there, in my living room, playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on a PS2, and now, multiple years later, I'm sitting here in front of a PS5, but I'm also looking at my phone, which can play the exact same game just as well, if not almost better, than a PS2 could. And that's kind of crazy to think about.
What I was gonna say is, I think the difference between like that and like Honkai or Genshin or even Tower of Fantasy is those games were made at a way earlier time technology-wise. It's not hard
That's
to have
true.
a 2-bit or a 8-bit, 16-bit, whatever Sonic is, side-scrolling game versus, a full HD models on a fucking anime character that they made for fucking Tower of Fantasy. It's easier to do that versus, one versus the other. But the issue with like Tower of Fantasy is that game was made for mobile and then ported to console, which is the problem. Starting on console and then moving over to mobile, I think that's fine. Especially with, like you said, like San Andreas, Vice City, shit like that. I think that works. But when it starts on mobile and they don't properly fix it so that it can be on console without, the drawbacks, that's the problem I seem to find.
Yo.
Well, you said like its initial release was rough. Is it better now?
I don't know about now. I know that when it first came out, like it had been out for like a few weeks, and we all got on to play it. Me, John, and then our buddy Tyler, and it was bad. Like it did not play well.
And it
Just
wasn't
because
like...
the game,
Sorry, go
it
ahead.
wasn't It wasn't unplayable. I think that's what you were gonna say. Like it wasn't unplayable. It was just like some of the menu options and the UI. You could tell they were more geared for a mobile platform than the console. And it was just like, okay, well, you have to press 17 buttons in this certain sequence just to open your menu. When on mobile, you could have just like swiped up your screen or something.
It was really hard to tell kind of where you were at and what was going on. Because I remember a specific play session like with Tyler where you can play co-op with your buddies, but the game doesn't, at least that I recall, didn't make a clear distinction between like a hub area and where like the story area instance takes place. So we would be
Right.
together and then all of a sudden he was right beside me and he's not there anymore because we entered a story instance area and I had no idea or clue that that's what was going on or was going to happen.
I
Right.
can see how that would be confusing.
And I haven't played it since that first initial like week after it came out. It might be better now, but it was not good when we first played it.
Well, I know some of those where it like games are being ported or things are changing between like consoles or PC and whatnot. Usually they do have a pretty rough release, and then as time goes on and they're able to kind of update it and work with it more, they tend to become better, but that's not always the case. Sometimes
Right.
they do stay relatively rough or just not where they need to be.
Excuse me.
No, I need every
Well-
game to be absolutely flawless. Every time.
Right away.
If
Right.
every game doesn't come out like Spider-Man 2, I don't want it.
I think we
Speaking
recall
of which,
Spider-Man
Leo,
2's release kind of differently.
Spider-Man's 2 release was perfect. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, Justice, you were saying something?
Come
I
talk
know
to me
the-
when
I
you've
know.
platinumed the game, John. Come talk to me when you've platinumed Spider-Man 2.
Look, I'm here. Let's
Come
talk.
talk to me when you platinumed all
Did you
three.
platinum it?
I
Pix-
platinumed
Pixar-
all three of them.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
You know what?
You can
You know
check
what?
his trophy list.
But No,
those,
I mean,
those were those were really fun play.
I need to go back and play the other two, like platinum them.
Yeah, come talk to
Right,
me
you
when
have
you've
it.
platinumed all three of them.
I wasn't talking about all three of them. I was talking about specifically Spider-Man 2.
Are we about to like
Well,
fight
now
right now?
you're getting called out.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what, guys? I think this is probably it. The last No, I'm just kidding.
This is the last episode. We've only recorded 5 episodes. This is the last one.
It's about to become a solo podcast. One of them's dead, the other one's in prison.
But I don't know. I think the issue with mobile games is a lot of them just straight up lie, honestly. You know, we've all seen, you go and watch an ad and it's like, pull these pins to move the gems around, or to undo the gas that's filling up this room,
God.
or undo the lava so you can save the treasure. And
Is
then
there-
you go and play the game and it's like it's a manager game. It's a fucking farming simulator or some shit.
Is it possible to like mute sounds on TikTok? Do we know, like, to like block them from ever coming to your For You page?
Actually, yeah. So I know how to do this. Let me explain this. You're gonna go to your like home screen where TikTok is, and uninstall it.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Nothing will pop up on your For You page if you don't
Like-
have a For You page.
It gets me.
Exactly.
The thing that turns me off the most from like a lot of those, like even like the filters or like the mobile games like that on TikTok, is there's the one dude that's like, it's impossible to get a score higher than an 8, but I've got the fastest fingers on TikTok, so let's sit. And it's like, oh my god.
Well, it's
I
like,
hate those when they're way too excited about the dumbest thing. It's like,
Oh
yo,
my God.
watch me drive this car around us. Oh my gosh, it's so hard and crazy. See if you can do better. And then it's like the most simplest thing in the world happening on the screen.
You
Well,
find
like,
they purposely failed stage 1.
oh my, I hate those ads too. I'll get onto those in a second. Like, so I think I've said this before. Whenever I see those little stupid fucking games on TikTok where it's like, oh, I can't figure out the pattern, I go and beat them. I don't post the videos. I don't save the videos. I go and beat them for my own personal self-satisfaction, and I never touch them again.
God, I love that
would
we're
you?
like all the same level of like petty, you know? Like,
Well, it's exactly like the same vein as like what you said. Games that fucking like you watch the ad for the game and they're purposely fucking up, and it's like the game is not that hard. A
like,
5-year-old
it-
could play this game, and you're a
It
40-year-old
makes me
man.
laugh. It makes me laugh. I want to see these same guys attempt to like beat Bahamut in Final Fantasy or beat any Dark Souls. I want to see
Oh,
what
go
happens
beat-
to
oh,
them.
but he
Go
could
beat
do
the
it
fear
because
and
he's got the
fucking
best
balls.
reaction time on TikTok. Like,
Dies to the tutorial, like not even boss, just the tutorial enemy.
The first tutorial enemy he runs into, he dies.
look,
This
But
is
no,
so
like
hard.
that's why I said earlier, like I think that TikTok and like fucking just how shit is in general, it has a bad rap. It does, because you see so many of those fucking games that are like, oh, blah blah blah, you can't beat this score, or you watch it and it very obviously is not what you've been playing or what is being presented. And I'm pretty sure that there were a couple of games that got taken down, like straight up just removed from the App Store because of false advertising.
This gets me thinking. I got a question. What is your guys's the worst mobile game you have ever played?
The worst mobile game I've ever played?
oh god.
Like, I'll let you decide whatever you consider worst, whether it was like boring or just bad. But like for me, I think one of the worst mobile games I've ever played is like not necessarily even a specific one, just the ones where it's like here. Okay, so here's a good one. That Mafia, where you're
Oh,
building
God.
up a town or a city or a castle or whatever the fuck, and it's wait 8 hours to upgrade it one level so you can get another building that you have to wait 12 hours in order to even use. It's like, why?
Well,
Why
it's like,
am I
yeah,
waiting?
you upgrade your one building to level 1, and it's like, this is 30 seconds. And then it goes up, and it's like, it's 3 minutes. And then the next level, 14 hours you have to sit here and wait for this building to upgrade.
Right. Now, with that said, I am a bit of a hypocrite. Recently, they just dropped a game I've been looking forward to for a while called Merchant Guilds. It is one of those kind of waiting games, but they're a lot more lenient on their times, and there's a lot more stuff going on than just, I'm sitting there waiting 8 hours to upgrade a building, to wait 8 hours to upgrade a building. There's more going on. So that one is fun. Merchant Guilds, check it out. I do recommend. But the ones where it really is, you're waiting to do pretty much nothing. They're so dumb.
Well, and it's like, I know what mine is. I know what my worst one is. And, like, I agree with you. It's not even a specific game, but the games that promote themselves is like, you can do everything for free in this game. You can just earn out materials in this game. Just play the game. And then you go and play the game, and it's like, yeah, you can earn materials, but you get one material for like every fucking 300 missions that you do.
Right.
The drop rates on your actual like premium materials are so fucking ludicrously high that it almost incentivizes you to just spend money to play the game. Like, if I can't go, like, I have a game that I play on my phone. It's called Mobile Legends, and I like that one. And I can earn back any material I get in the game, besides like the super high tier premium stuff. And even then, there's still opportunities for me to get that by spending another form of currency. I'm never without an opportunity to get the premium currency for like pulls or whatever. I don't like games where it's like a gacha system where it's like you have to have 10, razzle bucks or fucking whatever to pull 10 characters, but you don't get razzle bucks by playing the game. You get razzle bucks by fucking, selling your soul to the devil and cutting off your fucking left pinky toe.
See, and like this is going to be a bit of a
if-
sidetrack, and like we can put a pin on this and come back. That's where I feel like a lot of issues were like when I first saw stuff for like Genshin and Honkai, I did not want to give them the time of day because I have been fooled too many times by those mobile games and those other gacha style games where the material you get to pull are 10 hours apart and some of the hardest like content in the game. But to do the hardest content in the game, you need to be able to pull, and it...
Right. And it's just, you're stuck. You get to a certain point, you're fucking stuck. Because either you spend $40 to get 10 pulls, or you grind out for fucking 3 weeks continuously to get your 10 pulls, to get the character that you're not even guaranteed to fucking get.
I'm just gonna come out and say it, Dislight was that problem for me.
I agree. I like Dislight. I like the idea with Dislight. For those of you that don't know what Dislight is, it's another gacha style game. It's a idle fight game or whatever. And Markiplier was in it, but it's all based around Greek mythology and not Greek mythology, just mythology in general. And you have to use what's called like records to pull, because like the game is heavily centered around music, and God, it's so hard to get fucking records in that game.
I feel like if I have to spend money to play your game or make progress, I'm not gonna play it. Like, there are some of those games where it does help to spend money, but if I can't do... Okay, let's say a dude spends $20. I don't spend any money. If I can't get the same exact stuff he has by just time and dedication because he spent money, I won't play your game. I want to be able to get the exact same stuff just through work.
That's like... So this is a small side tangent concerning something like that. You guys remember Marvel's Avengers, right? That came out a couple years ago. They just shut down support for the servers. So
know that.
I don't think they shut down support for the servers. I think you can still play the game, but they're not updating the game anymore.
Right, the support for the
Um,
game is down. The servers. Are
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I meant. So there was an item in Fortnite, and I know you both don't like Fortnite, but you could get the like Hulk hands. You know, like Hulk hands they used to make when like the Hulk movie
Yeah.
came out.
Oh yeah, I had some.
You could get Hulk hands as a pickaxe, and it had an alternate style where it was the gauntlet that Hulk wore in Infinity War
Okay, yeah.
or Endgame, whatever it
That
was.
is cool. That's cool.
And they said when they announced this pickaxe, you can only get this pickaxe if you bought Marvel Avengers. And I was like,
What
cool.
if you'd already owned it?
Well, if it was like it was a limited time thing, I'm pretty sure. But I think that if you bought the game, you had access to the like if you linked shit or something.
I was
don't
gonna
remember
say
exactly
like you have
how
to
I
link
got
the
it.
Epic account or something like that.
Right, it was something like that. But it was
Gotcha.
if you bought Marvel Avengers and you had the game, you got access to the pickaxe in Fortnite. And I was like, cool, that's awesome. This is like a super limited pickaxe that only like a certain number of people are going to have, people that have also played Marvel Avengers. That's awesome. Like 6 months later, right? Fortnite does this big Marvel event. They have all the Marvel superheroes. Guess what's in the fucking item shop?
Oh God.
That exact same fucking pickaxe that they said you were only going to be able to get if you bought Marvel Avengers. So granted, it is kind of an expensive pickaxe. It's a fucking $60-$70 pickaxe if you just bought the regular version of the game. Upwards of $80-$90 if you bought the deluxe edition like I did. It's an expensive item.
That's equivalent to like pre-ordering or buying a game, and then a year later it's free on the PlayStation Plus.
I hate
Right.
doing that, and then a week later, like I look and it's the new monthly game. I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Small, very small side tangent on top of my very small side tangent. So you guys remember Black Ops 4, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
So I bought Black Ops 4. I pre-ordered Black Ops 4. I played like 3 days early on Black Ops 4. I spent $70 to get that fucking game on my PS4. Literally the day after it came out, it got discounted, the Super Deluxe Edition, to $40.
Oh God.
Literally the day after. I was so fucking pissed.
Well, that's
You
like
got
really
cut.
shitty too, because like it's not like you can contact PlayStation and have that adjustment made. Like, I
No, I didn't
almost
buy it when it
That
was on
purchase?
sale. I didn't buy it when it was on sale. So they're not going to reimburse me the money because I didn't buy it when it was on sale.
no, and that's like kind of the thing is that sometimes like the companies like that are just. I know it's their job to make money, and it's something like all the fine print makes it so like it heavily favors them. But
Right.
like if I double buy a game by accident and then almost don't get the refund because I downloaded the game to play it, there's something kind of messed up about that.
Yeah, I remember when
alright,
that happened
alright,
to you. That still pisses me off.
I wanna make a very also small side tangent on this because he got me thinking. So if you go into GameStop and let's say you buy a copy of, I don't know, Batman Arkham Knight, and you take it home and you play it, would you say you own that game?
Yeah.
I mean,
Do
yeah.
you own the game?
Yeah,
Okay,
so like I
if
think
you
I know
go
what
to
you're
the
getting at
PlayStation
here.
Store, if you go to the PlayStation Store and buy a digital copy of Batman Arkham Knight and you play the game, you legally don't own that game.
Nope.
Nope.
Meaning, if you lose your account, all of the I have a lot of games digitally purchased.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot. That is
So-
probably thousands of dollars. If for some reason I got banned or whatever, just gone.
Right, and that's kind of like
So
the
that
thing is that
happened-
it's just like I have $1,000 minimum at least alone into like Destiny 2 from like between the shop purchases or just other things with that game.
Expansions, shit like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like So like when I know exactly what you're talking about, where
Well,
like one of like the owners of like Sony or one of those companies said gamers should get used to not actually owning their games, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not paying you a one-time $70 fee to rent it. Like,
right.
Essentially, you are though.
Well, that's the thing is like
and that's kind of
it's
fucked
very
up.
fucked up, and there's security. So like I had this happen to me. So remember a couple years ago, this is back 5 years ago. It was a pretty big story. A kid had his PlayStation account since the PS3 when they first launched PlayStation Network.
yeah,
So and like me, I've had my account since my PS3. So whenever that fucking came out, he had been given he had been buying games. His family had bought him games. He had, I think they said he said, like, looking through his library, the value of just the games that he owns was like $4,000 or something
I could believe it.
over
Yeah.
this entire time. And a hacker sent him an email from what looked like PlayStation support that said, "Hey, someone tried to log into your account." So he clicks the link on the fucking email. He logs into his account and changes his password. Well, it was a fake email to a fake website. They got access to his PlayStation account. They logged into his PlayStation account and changed everything. Changed the email, changed the phone number, changed fucking the passwords, all that shit. And he was out. That account he had for, at the time, probably, this was back in like 2017, 2018, so 10 plus years.
I don't
All
think
that account, all that value that he had invested into his PlayStation account, gone.
I don't think anything would make me an
because-
Xbox player faster.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I'd be done. Like, I probably
I wouldn't know what to
play
do.
games. Like, I would just either put down the controller and pick up a different hobby, or like, that would fucking ruin my whole
Perspective.
everything. Because what's
that's
to
the thing
say
is,
it
like,
wouldn't happen on Xbox? I mean, fuck.
So it's with anything. It could
Yeah.
happen to your Steam library. It could happen to your fucking
Steam,
Xbox. It could happen to anything. And that goes into, like, for one, be wary of emails and shit. Don't ever click a random fucking email. If you weren't logging into your PlayStation account, you weren't logging into it. I saw a video on TikTok the other day that kind of goes into this. Do you guys know who Youth Pastor Ryan is? I think John does.
Oh yeah, I've seen his stuff. Yeah.
So he's
Not
got a
familiar with
master's
this
or a bachelor's. I don't know if it's a master's or a bachelor's, but he's got a degree in Homeland Security. So like, deep security shit. And he said, like, can you tell me, like, the video was, can you tell me the difference between this Amazon link and this Amazon link? No, it's one letter, specifically one letter is a different font. And he said that is the difference between you clicking the actual Amazon link and a fake link that someone set up. You click the fake link, it'll take you to Amazon. It'll fucking let you buy shit, purchase shit, do anything you could normally do on Amazon. But that link specifically is a link that'll give hackers access to your information. And the only thing that differentiates that link from the regular link is the font on a single letter that is almost indistinguishable from the original font.
What the heck?
Yeah. So, like, be wary, be like very fucking close knit about, like, your passwords, your security on your accounts, shit like that. Because I had that happen to me. I didn't have two-factor authentication set up on my PlayStation account, and I was losing my shit one day. I was out in public with my mom, with my grandma. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. Keep talking.
I just like.
Yeah, so he was out in public with his grandma and his mom, and they just kind of disowned him. They were like, "We don't like you anymore. Pack up your shit. Go live behind a den."
Oh,
We told you to try the
That's what
Febreze. You didn't listen.
that's what it was.
I told you. I told you.
But no, so like I got an email from PlayStation that said you've been logged out of your PlayStation account. I was like, what the hell? So I get on the app and I'm looking through the app. I was logged out of the app. I logged back in. I immediately got logged out. I was like, what the fuck? I spent probably a good 3 or 4 hours trying to change my password, kick off every device that I've ever fucking been on. My PlayStation account. I disconnected every one of my fucking consoles. I set up two-factor authentication, and finally I got it. Finally, it worked. But for like 4 hours, I kept logging in and getting kicked out, and then I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then I read that story about that dude, and I was like, "Someone was trying to fuck with my PlayStation account. I know it." Luckily, nothing bad happened. I got it set up so that it was fixed.
See, I was trying
That
to do that
scared the shit out of
recently
me.
with Discord, but like for some reason, like Discord, even though I have my information is in there, it tells me I don't have two-factor authentication on, even though I turned it on specifically. But it tells me I don't have it on and can't set it up to like authorize via text message or anything. And I'm just like, okay, I guess.
Well, I had to download a whole separate authenticator app for Discord.
See, I need to do that
Like,
too. But like I have like the backup
because
passcodes
I know
and
what
stuff.
you're talking about with you setting up your server that you set up.
But
Because for me to get access to moderator privileges, I had to set up two-factor authentication.
yep, that's my fault. I made that a thing. But I
That's
don't
fine.
understand
I
like
mean,
why it doesn't
works.
like why can't I set it up so I have like the mobile authentication I have on everything else? Like
I don't know. But to get back to mobile games, fuck mobile games.
no, not necessarily. Hold on now. They're not all bad.
Well, no, and I mean, I really like gotcha style games. I like the idea of it, but again, it goes back into that whole system of if you don't have a steady stream of currency to pull, you're just kind of fucked. And like I said earlier, I think there are some companies that like in Japan that they've been told to stop doing gotcha games because people were like losing entire life savings on gotcha games.
There was that,
It
and
is-
then go ahead, Justice.
It is like legitimately a gamer's gambling. So people go, I don't like gambling. Gambling's addictive. And then they open up fucking CS:GO and start pulling boxes. Or they open up, Honkai and they start trying to pull characters. That is gambling. And it
It is.
becomes a problem.
Bro, I'm gonna keep
Well,
it a
that's
buck
like-
with you. I play Magic for a living. I mean, my entire
That's my
existence
point.
is based off of gotcha
even
systems.
more. Fucking Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards, by all like legitimate descriptive terms, is gambling.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
people don't think about that.
our buddy Tyler, right? When we lived together, we were because we lived in the apartment together when Dislight came out, and I played Dislight. I had spent maybe I want to say like $10-15 on Dislight just to get like some premium characters or whatever.
I love you.
And I asked him one day at work. I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Are you still playing Dislight?" And he was like, "No." He was like, "Fuck that game." And I was like, "Oh, why?" I was like, we were playing together, like we were both having fun." He was like, "Justin, I spent $100 on that game." And I was like, "What the fuck? Why?" And he was like, I was pulling characters, man. I got a bunch of good characters. And then, the luck kept coming and I was getting good characters. And that was $50 in. So I was like, I'll just put another $50 in. And then he spent another $50 and he was getting shit pulls like the entire fucking time. And he was like, I think altogether he said he spent like $250 on just Dislight.
I told this story before, but there's a game called Dragon Ball Legends. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, knows that. We have a good friend named Junior, and this is another one of those gotcha pull type games. So they had an event going on where you could get like an ultra legendary Broly, I pulled, I can't make this up, 2 times. I got the dude. I didn't spend any money. Junior pulled, I don't know how many times. Spent $100. Didn't get him. Came to work the next day, I showed it to him, and he was pissed.
You can't. I love you.
So I
Well, that's
I get
that's
it,
ultimately
man.
the
Those
thing
they're
is like
fucking bad.
it's gambling, like you said. Like if you're in a casino, right, and you're sitting next to somebody and they hit the jackpot, that's gonna piss you off because you've been sitting there for 6 hours getting fucking pennies on the dollar. You wasted, your entire night's earnings
I love you.
on a slot machine, and they just won $3,000.
You got him right.
Good news.
And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. That's like this new game came out, and Tyler and I were playing it, and it's called Devil May Cry Peak of Combat.
I hate that game.
And we were playing it, and I haven't had this issue, but Tyler said he spent like $75 on this game. And I asked him, I was like, why are you spending money on this game? He was like, because if you don't spend money to get stamina and you ran out of stamina, you can't play the game.
I think that's silly. So like, okay, I'll jump back to Final Fantasy Ever Crisis. That one is similar mindset. You have to have stamina in order to do. But they're so like, this might be the wrong word, but I think frivolous is the right word. But they're so like frivolous with their stamina.
Frugal.
I've never run out. Frugal. That's the word I'm looking to. I've never run out, ever. They're so.
Well, that's the thing with like Mobile Legends. Like Mobile Legends also uses a stamina currency, but I think right now at this moment in time, I have like 400 or 500 stamina.
So
out of the base like 23.
So Honkai does it too, where they have their stamina system. It's like Trailblaze power. And you have 240, and if you were to work that to 0, it would take 24 hours to get back to the full 240. But the game itself, you only use that on like the game modes where like you're grinding out for like equipment for the characters, or if you're getting like materials to level up or ascend them to higher levels.
Well,
otherwise,
like
you can go run around.
You're not using stamina.
Yeah, you can still run around. Like, if you're at 0 stamina, like, I can run around the open world like I've been doing for the last 42 minutes, and I've just been beating up basic, like, enemies in the overworld, getting materials from them. And getting money, and, if I had story to do, I could go do the story. That doesn't require the stamina.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you're playing a game that requires stamina, either make it so you can get stamina back by doing missions or completing things. That's the whole point I had with like Mobile Legends. If your in-game economy is not a full circle, you can earn all that shit continuously without the need for spending money. It's not a good game.
I've never been behind the concept of stamina in a game. I think if you make a game, the game to be played, and you want it to be played as much as possible, you shouldn't make it so I can do 5-6 missions, and then I gotta wait half a day, even longer, or I have to, spend money to play your game. Because some people won't spend the money, and some people simply won't wait to play the game. I don't think the concept of stamina in games makes sense. I don't like it.
Well, it makes sense when, like I said, your economy is a full circle where you can earn that currency and that stamina back. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a way to do that without spending money or waiting an astronomical amount of time, like, it doesn't make sense, Because I've played plenty of games where it's like, cool, you can do all these missions and stuff, or you can level up these characters, but you need 17 copies of this character who is a premium character who isn't available for fucking pulling anymore. So now you just have to spend $40 to fucking do it.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. That's
So-
why games like Flappy Bird stuck around for so long.
God, I miss Flappy Bird.
If you had a phone that still had that game on it, you'd make bank.
Oh my god, there were
So-
people that were selling it for like $3,000.
Yeah.
You're saying I log into my eBay account and go find my iPod from like 15 years ago.
Or, yes. Well, like, did you concerning Flappy Bird? Did you guys hear the story about the girl that killed her brother over Flappy Bird?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
We were going
So,
like down one road and you just beat her and I was not ready for this.
So I think, if I remember correctly, this person was playing Flappy Bird, right? And they had they were doing like really really good. They were at like 240 something or 1,000, like whatever fucking the gauge for distance was. They were really far in the game. And this girl's younger sibling came up and like bumped into them on accident, and they died. The bird died. So the sister turned around and like fucking shoved her brother to the floor and just strangled him, killed him
What the fuck?
over
I've
I've
Flappy
heard of
Bird.
dumb reasons. I've heard of dumb reasons for people losing their life, but that is up there.
This is the first I'm hearing the story and I just...
I heard about it like I think 3 or 4 months after Flappy Bird came out. Like when it was still at like its peak. Legitimately, like this girl killed her younger brother, like her, I think the kid was like 5 or 6 years old and she was like 14 or 15, and she killed her younger brother and got arrested for over fucking Flappy Bird.
What an idiot.
Right. Like,
Well,
I
with that,
it's ridiculous.
You'll say
With
that
that
being
gory tale-
said,
mobile games. I do think we should wrap this one up.
Yeah.
I agree.
Ending
with
it on
you,
a high note.
right?
Literally.
Remember, be safe. Don't click any weird Amazon accounts.
And don't
Spend-
kill your brother over a stupid mobile game.
Don't kill your brother over a mobile game.
Don't
Don't
kill-
kill anybody
Just-
over a mobile game. But remember, be
And for
safe out
God's
there.
sakes, don't phone and drive.
Don't
Do
phone
not
and
phone and
drive.
drive.
Have a good night, y'all.
Good night, guys.
Bye.